During Nintendo's most recent shareholders meeting, it was announced that President Tatsumi Kimishima is stepping down and that his replacement would be Shuntaro Furukawa. We also learned about Nintendo's E3 2018 plans. So with all this new information now out there, what does this mean for the future of Nintendo on the Switch? Does it mean doom and gloom? Or does it mean a very, very bright future? A lot of the changes that we have seen over the last few years from Nintendo have a lot to do with Iwata. You see, before Iwata's passing, he went through great lengths to change Nintendo and really, change their direction. He has a lot to do with the fact that Nintendo has partnered with Universal, that they are spreading, they're taking advantage of Amiibo, using the Nintendo properties, the whole NX plan, which we now know as a Switch. All of that, Iwata played a big role in setting up. So when Kimishima came into power, really what he did was simply carry the torch that Iwata had already lit and basically helped to market the Switch and make sure that it flowed well with its launch. And he's done an amazing job of that. The Switch is doing incredibly well. It's on pace to be one of Nintendo's best-selling systems ever, hardware and software-wise. However, Kimishima is an old man. He's in his late 70s already, and he came in as an interim president since Iwata did pass away, and that was not expected. It wasn't a part of the plan. So basically, what we've heard now from the shareholders meeting is that Tatsumi Kimishima never intended on being a long-term president for Nintendo. So Fukudo-san is actually, from what we're hearing, meant to be, hopefully, the long-term president for Nintendo. He's young, 46. When Iwata came into presidency, he was 42, so also young. There is a connection there. But Fukudo-san brings some very interesting elements to the table. He has a strong background in marketing and business. He, similar to Kimishima, he knows business. He's a businessman first, and he could definitely manage Nintendo from that business perspective and really play a vital role in marketing Nintendo systems and software. But not only that, this guy has a background in gaming, but it's just not as a developer, but as an actual gamer. He was someone who played video games back in the NES era. Those were some of the best games he's ever had. I mean, he's even right here, he's quoted as saying, "I grew up playing the Famicom and come from that generation. Now as a member of management with Super Mario's creator Shigeru Miyamoto, I have a lot of respect for him. On the other hand, with this new job, that can't just be it. So I expect to say what needs to be said to run the company." So this guy has experience playing games. He is a gamer, but he's also a businessman, and he's fluent in English, which is not something that can be said about previous Nintendo presidents, which could play a vital role in the communication with Western, companies. That really can make a huge difference. And on top of that, he also served as one of the board of directors for Pokemon companies. He also has close ties with Pokemon, and now since Nintendo is relying on the Switch, which is kind of both a portable and a home console, their Pokemon property, their Pokemon is going to play a much more vital role than it ever has before for the long-term success of Nintendo. And Fukudo-san may very well be the best fit for Nintendo because he brings that marketing and business aspect that we kind of saw from Kimishima, but also that love for gaming that we saw from Iwata. And on top of that, he has his own unique strengths as well, with his ability to speak fluent English and his close ties with Pokemon. We could be seeing something very special with Fukudo-san. He could definitely help to not only, carry on the legacy of Iwata and Kimishima and of course Yamauchi, but also to push forward and try new things and make Nintendo even better than it has been in the past. He's even quoted as saying this: "We will develop the company to its fullest. I will balance Nintendo's traditions, originality, and flexibility." So personally, I'm not concerned about this change in presidency. In fact, I think that Fukudo-san is even more of a better fit for Nintendo than Kimishima. So I wouldn't be concerned at all, guys. I think this is actually very, very promising. Now let's talk about some of the dates that we saw during the shareholders meeting, and the real interesting thing about it is that we saw no changes. Yoshi, Fire Emblem, they're still slated for 2018. Smash Bros. Is of course also slated for 2018. Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 are still TBA, to be announced. And then Pokemon, which is the weirdest one, the one we were sort of kind of waiting on. We were waiting the shareholders meeting to hear about this. It still says 2018 or later. We've had multiple quarterly, shareholder meetings from Nintendo at this point, and it still has been 2018 or later this whole time. We are at the end of April. 2018, if it comes, I would expect it to come November 2018. That's usually when Pokemon comes out, if it's coming out this year. But the fact that they're still saying 2018 or later leads me to believe that yes, there is still a shot that Pokemon could come out this year, but maybe it's kind of more along the lines of a, if not holiday 2018, an early 2019 title. It seems to me that no matter what, Nintendo plans on Pokemon coming out by the end of the fiscal year, that being March 2019, so they can get in all of the Pokemon sales, so they can report it to their shareholders by their next, annual shareholders meeting. And another interesting thing to note is that Nintendo still plans on hitting that 20 million units sold for this coming fiscal year. Kimishima has even recently said during the shareholders meeting that the ingredients necessary to hit that goal are already in place. So what does that mean exactly? In my opinion, that means that the software that they planned to come out during this fiscal year to really push that 20 million, they already know it's in place. So does that mean Pokemon? In my opinion, yes, but I think it also means Smash Brothers, and it could even mean something along the lines of Animal Crossing. I don't know if it'll come out this year, it hasn't even technically been announced yet, but we've heard some murmurings, so maybe they plan to have that game out by the end of the fiscal year. So keeping all of this in mind, going into Nintendo's E3 this year and seeing what they have to say about their E3 plans, it's interesting to say the least. I think, when you look at the release list that Nintendo has set up, at this point it's safe to say that Yoshi, Fire Emblem, and Smash Brothers are all 2018 titles. Pokemon, 2018 or later, it's hard to say, but based off what we've been hearing from Nintendo, I think it's safe to assume that they are definitely aiming somewhere between November 2018 to March 2019. So then, we could be looking at a pretty stacked E3 this time around. But of course, the emphasis at this year's E3 is Smash Brothers. I mean, if you look at Nintendo's sort of announcement on Twitter, literally it has a giant Smash logo in the background. There's going to be a huge Smash tournament that will be taking place after the video presentation, which also will be taking place. It's going to be featured in the treehouse, as they said, and it's going to be featured in the video presentation. So Smash Bros. is going to be taking a big seat here, and based off what we've seen from that teaser trailer, it doesn't seem like it's a port at all to me at this point. It looks like they're really going all in on this Smash Brothers game, and at this point I think it's safe to say that Smash Brothers is going to be the theme of E3. But I think it's also safe to say we're going to see Yoshi, we're going to see Fire Emblem, we may very well see Pokemon. Metroid or Bayonetta, it's kind of up in the air. We may see one of those titles, but if they're focusing on 2018, they may not need to show either of them unless one of them could be coming out this year or early 2019. That is a possibility. And I also wouldn't be shocked if they show off Animal Crossing, especially considering the rumors and considering that apparently the ingredients are already in place to make sure the Switch sells 20 million units. So maybe that means Animal Crossing, maybe that means Pokemon, maybe that means Smash Bros. All three of these games sell more than anything else. Metroid and Bayonetta, those are big games for hardcore fans, but historically speaking, they've never been system sellers, not to the level of Smash, Animal Crossing, or Pokemon. So I don't think those games are too significant in terms of hitting the big goals. But I could be proven wrong. We'll see what happens in the future. But, there could be something else here. Maybe it's not Animal Crossing, maybe it's not Pokemon. Maybe it still is those, but maybe there's something else. Now, we've heard that third parties are improving, and we've heard murmurings about different games that could be on the Switch. Some of these games that I'm hearing about that could be announced for the Switch could be maybe Grand Theft Auto 5 for the Switch, or maybe Fortnite for the Switch. These are very mainstream games that would bring in a lot of people and people would love on the Switch. So maybe this E3 could be huge, ginormous. Maybe we could be seeing Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, Borderlands on top of Smash Brothers and Animal Crossing and Pokemon. Heck, if I get a Metroid trailer, I'll probably cry myself to sleep in tears of joy. But, you know, it just seems like, based off all the information we have, this is going to be a huge E3. Now, you know, maybe we don't need Animal Crossing to hit that target. Maybe we don't need Pokemon. Maybe we want to get one of those. You know, that's a possibility. But at the very least, we know at this point we're definitely getting Smash, Kirby's already come out, Yoshi, and Fire Emblem. And I think it's safe to say that at least Pokemon or Animal Crossing will be at E3 at this point, one of those or something else new that's major, on top of some really major third-party stuff like potentially a Grand Theft Auto game, or maybe Beyond Good and Evil 2 or Fortnite, or maybe a combination of those games. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we are headed towards a huge E3? If you look at the information, I think it's pretty convincing to say that yes, and I think the future of Nintendo is looking very promising, because if they can hit this target goal, they are well on pace to do. They're going to be in great shape. I mean, they forecasted like 10 million for the Switch for previous fiscal year, and they nearly hit 18 million. So if they are under forecasting this time around again, maybe they exceed 20 million, then the Switch will be well ahead of their forecast, which is very, very good news, and it only says great positive things about the future of Nintendo and the Switch. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. Yeah, it's been I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait for E3. And neither can he.